Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome to Stephen King Saturday Night, and tonight we are talking about Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. And this is the first of three Stephen King Saturday Nights that are going to be questionable, at least, most, I guess, because these are all sequels, not direct adaptations, but I'll get back to adaptations after this. But um, the reason is I have a few movies that are very long, like The Shawshank Redemption or Green Mile, that I just didn't want to do yet. You know what I mean? And I was like, I want us to do that long movie. So we are doing Children of the Corn 2, a movie that, in my opinion, after watching it, might be better than the original. The original was fine. I think I gave it a middle of the road, but it was fine. This, it starts kind of slow, but by the end, you know, it goes there. It goes there. It takes place, I think it was a couple days after the events of the first film, although none of the cast return. And this is came out in 1992, whereas the original was 1984, so 8 years later. And yeah, and I've heard that a lot of these sequels don't have any connections, but there is a connection to this. It picks up in Gatlin, Nebraska. It a couple of days afterwards, and there is, the incident. They find the bodies of the parents that were murdered in like a basement. Cops are there, reporters are there, and they're gonna move the kids, some of which look older than 18, but move the kids to the nearest by town, Hemingville, I think like that, Hemington, something like that. And just this coincides with a journalist and his son, journalist John Garrett and his son Danny on the way. They don't connect very well because one of those situations where he knocked up Danny's mom at 17. He wasn't ready. He took off, and he hasn't been the most responsible father. And without mentioning too many words, they don't really say what happened to the mother. You assume she passed away or something. Who knows? But yeah, we get our Isaac replacement in Micah, and it's very obvious because he's the only one wearing black, much like Isaac was, although he's not dressed like a pilgrim or a Quaker or whatever it was. And we get our Malachi replacement with Mordecai. Yeah, I don't know. Malachi, Mordecai, Isaac, Micah. They're similar, especially Malachi and Mordecai. To the point I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute, Mordecai? He didn't look like that in the last one. And then I'm like, was it Mordecai or was it Malachi? I looked, it was Malachi. So, yeah, it was a different character. But, yeah. So all these kids are taken to the nearby town. And then shit goes down. Credit to this movie, we actually get to see corn stalks killing people. And that was wild. The deaths in this I range from strange, like the corn killing people, to this Micah is in the back stabbing this wooden statue in the nose, and the guy gets a nosebleed to death. And there's a slaughter towards the end of the film where they set the thing on fire. There's another slaughter some other point in the film. There's a scene where this old lady's in a wheelchair and she's yelling about something, and she goes all nuts, and she hits the middle of the road, and then this truck just comes and hits her, and it instead of just like running over her as what a traditional horror movie would do, it hits her and she flies through this window of someone playing bingo. And the only thing criticism I have for this is that this guy playing bingo gets a bingo and just yells, "Yeah, yeah!" And I'm like, no, it would have been funnier if he goes, "Bingo!" and she bursts through the window. That would have been funnier. That would have worked better. Bingo! She goes flying through the freaking. There's your prize, dude. There's also a subplot with Danny meeting this woman named Lacey, or it's a teenager named Lacey, I guess, played by Christy Clark, who I know from Days of Our Lives. She played forgot the character's name, but she was on Days of Our Lives. I know that because my mom and my grandma were into soaps when I was growing up, so I got caught watching a few of them, caught up watching a few of them here and there, but you know. And so she looked familiar, and I looked it up. Yeah, she was on Days. I remember the character's name, but she was on there. And she's always the love interest. There's sort of two sex scenes in this movie. There's one between John and this other love interest of his, Angela. They share maybe two scenes together before they have this sex scene, because they meet at the beginning. He asks for a place to stay. Like, immediately as soon as he meets her, he's got the fuck me eyes. Like, and he asks for a place to stay, and she got a boarding house, and there's that scene, and then she's sort of gone from the narrative for a while, and then they meet up again. They have a scene on the porch. Next scene, they're in bed, they're drenched with fucking sweat, and they're on top of each other. And it's one of those sex scenes that I criticize, because, like, if you're gonna put a sex scene, do it right. Don't do this. We're gonna be in the covers the whole time and just sort of pretend to hump each other, and it's like, I don't know. And then later, the sort of sex scene with Danny and Lacey, they're just in the middle of the cornfield, and he unbuttons her shirt and just starts, like, going at it. They're making out. He's grabbing her ass, and then she's like, "Oh, there's something down there," and it's a severed hand. And then this line doesn't make any sense. They're like, "This must be the missing bodies from Gatlin," and I'm like, why would they have gone from Gatlin in here? Why would they be hidden here in a town? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But, yeah, I don't know. And there's also a subplot where John meets this Native American man named Frank, is what he's called on Wikipedia. And there's a subplot about how the corn's being poisoned and they're going to harvest it and send it and poison people, I guess. And there's a cop that's involved, but we don't really get any resolve to that. I don't think. He sits them up in the middle of the cornfield on this pole with this thresher, or whatever you call it, the harvester coming at them, and they're just able to get out of the way in time. And then in one of the most confusing turns, so the kids kidnap Lacey, and then they go to Angela's house to kidnap her, and then they've somehow swayed Danny to their side, and he's about to, like, sacrifice Lacey when John and Frank show up, and then he snaps out of it and helps them. And it's like, would it have made sense? As much as I wouldn't want his love interest to be one of the evil ones, would it make sense if Lacey had already been corrupted by the kids, right? And so, by the way, first, some called Children of the Corn, they're all like teenagers. Some of them played by adults, some by actual teenagers. They're over 13, most of them. So, I don't know. I guess you're still a kid at that point. Anyway, if Lacey was in on it, and she seduced him to joining the group, like this whole thing where they meet, and he's attracted to her, it was for, this was set up by Micah and the others. But no, he just sort of turns, because Micah's his friend, and they honestly chant, what was it? I don't remember what it was, but they chant something. What was it? I don't remember. But he just starts chanting, and he's in on it. He's in it. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? What? Until his dad shows up. And then Frank, the Native American man, gets shot with an arrow, and you think he's dead. And so they try to run away, and in what could have been inspiration for In the Tall Grass, or taken inspiration from In the Tall Grass, they can't get out of the corn, in the tall corn. They can't get out of the corn. They're stuck in it back where they were, and they get ready to get sacrificed. But then Frank wakes up and turns on the thresher, which catches Micah's robe that he has on now for some reason. And he gets thrown down, but not taken into the thresher yet. I call it a thresher, whatever, the harvester. Meanwhile, John just, like, beats this teenager in the face. Just beats the shit out of him. It's like, damn. Yeah. And then Micah's like, Danny, help me. You're my friend. And I'm like, then you get this weird if you thought the weird cauliflower smoke effect demon thing was weird in the first one, this one, they morph his face, and it's really weird. It's the only time we see this makeup effect, I think. And it's just for this one last shot, and it's like, and it disappears, and he's back to being normal. As soon as he's back to being normal, he gets sucked under the thresher. So it's like, oh, ooh. Oh, he's normal, save him. No, he's under the thresher. Okay. And then the main conflict of Danny and John not getting along, where he was ready to take off. I do like the scene where he's waiting at the bus stop, and Lacey drives up and she goes, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm waiting for the bus." Okay. And then she goes to take off, and she comes back. She goes, "Well, you might want a magazine or two because the bus doesn't come till next Tuesday." And then she goes to take off again, and he's like, I like it. But the main conflict between the father and son is solved by this is all done, and they decide they're going to leave. They find a car in the middle of the freaking cornfield. Somehow it works. And he's like, "You're okay, Dad." And I'm like, really? That's our resolution to this whole, yeah, he saved your life. You're okay, Dad. No. And, at least have a big hug. I love you, Dad. No, you're okay, Dad. And I get it would kind of be like that because they're still not that close, but he saved his life. I don't know. I did like this better than the first one. But I still get in the middle of the road. I don't know if these are inherently good movies. And I may cover the rest of these at some later point. They won't be Stephen King Saturday Nights because at this point, I don't know if the third one connects at all. But I took liberties with this to begin with. And when I saw it sort of connected at the beginning, okay, I can pull this off. This sort of connects. I don't think the next two sequels I'm doing, the next two videos will be sometimes they come back again, and sometimes they come back for more. I don't know if they're connected to the first one or not, but I'm doing them sort of fillers, and then I got other ones to do, so. Yeah, so, what are your thoughts on Children of the Corn? Leave it in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.